Hey there, welcome. Let me kick this off with a pretty uncomfortable truth. Most people die with debt. Seriously, 73% of Americans pass away still owing money. Now, let that sink in for a second. The average person with a debt at death, they owe over $61,000. Without a mortgage, it's nearly 13,000. And most of that, it's credit cards, it's car loans, it's student loans, you name it. But what if you didn't have to be part of this statistic? What if you could take the money you're already spending every month and use it to eliminate your debt and grow wealth at the same time? That's exactly what Jeff and Lisa did. And I want to walk you through how they did it using something I call the 3R strategy, which is just one of the many scenarios that can enhance an infinite banking plan. So let's call it a strategy within a strategy. I'm Denise, and this exact approach is what freed me from corporate life and helped me finally take control of my finances after years of doing things the normal way. So if you're currently sending 500, 1200, or maybe even 2000 a month to credit cards and still feeling stuck, stick around. This just might change the way you see money forever. So let me introduce you to Jeff and Lisa. Jeff is in IT. Lisa is a nurse. They're in their early 30s, earning about $100,000 annual income. Solid income, hard workers, just trying to build a life. They had about 30,000 spread across 3 credit cards. They did a kitchen renovation that went over budget. They had some unexpected medical bills, just life being life. They were throwing $1,200 a month at credit cards and barely making a dent. They tried everything. They tried budgeting apps. They tried balance transfers, even the whole Dave Ramsey's debt snowball. But at that pace, because they're playing by the system's rules, they were looking at over 10 years before they had that paid off. Now, here's where things get interesting. Jeff and Lisa reached out to me and said, hey, there's got to be a better way. And I told them something most financial advisors won't. Stop sending money to banks and start building your own. So instead of sending all the $1,200 to the credit card companies, I showed Jeff and Lisa how to redirect just $600 of that into a specially designed whole life insurance policy. Not the kind of policy you hear from your cousin's friend at a barbecue. This was a high cash value dividend paying policy designed to become their own personal banking system. We're not talking about insurance for death. We're talking about a tool for living and taking back control of your money. I'd like to explain using what I call my 3R strategy, which stands for R for redirect, R for repay, and R for reuse. So let's start with the first R, redirect. Jeff and Lisa stopped pouring all of their money into a black hole, also known as credit cards, and they instead started planting it into their own wealth building system. If we look at this chart, we will see that they have 3 credit card payments, one for 5,000 balance, one for 10,000 balance, and one for 15 for a total of 30,000. What we're going to do is that we're going to just pay the minimum payment, which is $600 on these cards, and we're going to redirect the other $600 into a life insurance policy, as you can see, for the total premium of $7,200 year 1. That is going to have growing guaranteed cash value. It's going to earn tax-free dividends, and it's going to be available to borrow at any time, working for him, not some bank. So it's not a bill, it's an asset. It's also a mind shift. The second R is repay. So after a year, Jeff had about 5,401 in cash value. And at that point, he had the credit card charging him 29% interest with a $5,000 balance. So instead of keeping up those painful monthly payments, he borrowed $5,000 from his policy and wiped out that credit card completely. So now I know you're thinking, isn't that just swapping one loan for another? Not exactly. See, when you borrow from your own policy, your cash keeps growing like you never touched it. You pay yourself back on your own terms, and the interest, it stays in your system, not the bank's. No credit check, no begging for approval, no minimum payments. They finally have control of their money. So let's look at the final R, which is reuse. Now, here's where it really takes off, because that $300 that Jeff and Lisa had been paying to that card every month, they added it to their policy funding. So as you can see in the illustration, they're now paying $10,800 a year instead of the $7,200. They're still tackling the rest of their debt. They're putting $900 instead of the $600. So that created a wealth snowball. More cash value every month, bigger policy loans available, faster debt elimination, and growing wealth all at the same time. So over the next 18 months, they paid off their second card and then the third. And each time they took the money they used to send to the credit card and redirected it into their policy. So before they knew it, $30,000 in credit card debt was gone. What amount changed from their current out-of-pocket expense? Zero. And the best part is that while they were getting rid of their debt, their cash value kept growing. That's free. Providing means for future home projects, travel, kids' college fund, retirement. They were no longer had any strict limits to what Jeff and Lisa could afford. At the young age of 55, they were already looking at $462,000 of cash value and a nice legacy of $1,144,736. And that all happened without them even paying back the loans that they took to pay off their debt. How awesome is that? So let's just sum this up. Jeff and Lisa eliminated $30,000 in debt in 4 years and built lasting wealth. And it works for everyday people, not just for rich people. So let me ask you, where is your money going every month? Are you feeding a system that's designed to keep you stuck? Are you growing something that builds your future? Because you're already sending money somewhere. The question is, are you building your wealth or someone else's? So if you want to see how this could work in your life, I've dropped a link in the description. You can book a call with me. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a conversation using your numbers to see what's possible for you. And if you're more of a reader, I want you to check out my book, Designing a Debt-Free Life with a Purpose-Driven Wealth Plan. It breaks all of this down step by step. I'm going to drop a link for that as well. So if this got your wheels turning, give it a like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone you care about, because we all deserve to live with more peace and more power over our money.